It was the night of October 12th. The time was around 11:30 p.m. I was sitting in my room, going through old files, when the phone rang. "Carter, we've got a body," came Constable Leo's voice on the phone. "Ashford Lane. It's bad." I stood up immediately. My partner, Inspector Rachel Blake, was already waiting for me in the car, and we set off. Through pouring rain, heading into the kind of street that the killer must have chosen very carefully. Ashford Lane was an old, deserted area. Tall walls, silent houses, and the only sound on the road was that of the rain. As soon as we arrived, Leo showed us the body. A young woman, maybe 28 or 29 years old, dressed in blue. Her face was frozen in fear, eyes wide open, as if she had seen something before dying that had shaken her to the core. "Name?" I asked her. "ID? Says Amelia Hart. Lives nearby. No signs of break-in, nothing stolen, just ... Dead. Leo's voice was trembling. Rachel examined the body. No bruises, no blood. But look, her watch stopped at exactly 11:17 p.m. I looked, and yes, the hands of the watch were frozen at that exact time, and on the ring finger of her right hand, there was an old, strange silver ring. Something was engraved on it. "Call Neil," I said. We needed forensic expert Dr. Neil Morgan, the kind of man who always arrived silently, stared at the body, and pulled out truths no one else could even imagine. 15 minutes later, Neil was there, briefcase in hand, face expressionless, but with that familiar depth in his eyes. "Strange," he said, as he closed the eyes of the corpse. "This death, it seems like it came from within. The heart, the brain, everything just shut down, but without any wounds or poison. Some kind of fear or shock." Rachel asked. Neil nodded. "Maybe, but look at this ring. This isn't ordinary silver. There's something else mixed in, maybe lead or mercury. I'll have to take it to the lab." We sent the body for post-mortem. And now, the most important question stood before us. What exactly happened to Amelia Hart at 11:17 p.m. the night she died? We went to her apartment, just 2 streets away from Ashford Lane. The door was open. Inside, complete silence. On a table, in the room, there was an open diary page, with something written in pencil. "If anything happens to me, check the whisper under the floor." Rachel immediately began examining the floor. She pulled back the carpet. Underneath was an old wooden floor, and in the middle of it, a loose plank. We lifted it, and inside was an old voice recorder. I pressed the play button immediately. "They're watching me, ... I know it," he said. 11:17. "He will return to finish what he started. If I die, tell Sam, Carter. Tell him I tried ... double quotes, my name." How did she know me? Rachel looked at me, and I was left frozen. From this point on, it wasn't just a murder case anymore. It had become a mystery that had my name in it. And maybe my past to that moment, when I heard my name in the voice of a dead woman. It felt like time had stopped. Why did she call out to me? I had never met a girl by that name. Or maybe I had. Rachel looked into my eyes. "Sam, did you know her?" I shook my head no. But the truth was, a faint old face had started to surface in my mind, though I couldn't fully remember. We returned to headquarters. Chief Alan Graves was already there, a bit harsh in tone, but never soft when it came to justice. "Sam, who is she and why the hell is she saying your name before dying?" he roared. I told him everything in detail. Neil placed the forensic report on the table. No physical injury, no poison traces in stomach, but presence of trace mercury around. The ring brain scan shows sudden nerve collapse, stress, or psychic trauma. Rachel spoke softly. This wasn't a suicide. This was some kind of mental game. Psychological kill. Chief Graves immediately said, "Dig into her history. Family, friends, anyone she met, and Carter, stay sharp. This might be personal." We collected Amelia's personal diaries from her residence. On page number 67, it was written, "I met him once, years ago. He was quiet, but sharp. He said he works in intelligence. He never told me his real name. But I remember his eyes. Blue.com, like Sam Carter's." My hands began to tremble. Rachel asked in shock, "Wait, ... have you ever done any kind of undercover work that isn't publicly known?" I was silent. Yes. 7 years ago I had done a covert operation with MI5, where I worked under a different name. But all of that was classified. There was a female informant in that operation. Maybe it was her, Amelia, but in that mission, we all had assumed she was dead. So had she actually survived? And now, had she returned? That same evening, we received another call. "Detective Carter, you need to come to 15th Avenue, another body." We headed there immediately. There we found the body of a young man, eyes open. The same expression of fear, the same posture. And once again, the watch had stopped. 11:17 p.m. This time, there was a note in the victim's hand. "You couldn't save her, let's see who dies next." This was no longer just a murder case, it was a challenge. The killer was dragging us into a game, and the time frame, 11:17, was becoming a symbol. Rachel said anxiously, "Sam, I think he's mocking you. This is personal now." The second body, and the same time, 11:17 p.m. This wasn't a coincidence anymore. This was a pattern, a message. The killer was trying to remind us of something again and again. The note found in the victim's pocket was now in front of us. He couldn't save her. Let's see who dies next. Neil compared the forensic reports of both bodies. Both victims had traces of mercury on skin. Not enough to kill, but enough to connect. Rachel noticed another strange detail. The ring fingers on both bodies were slightly blue, as if blood circulation had been cut off. I began building a timeline on the wall. Amelia Hart, 11:17 p.m. Gross second body, 11:17 p.m. NO visible. Connection between the two. But the killer had said, "You couldn't save her," Rachel said. "What if he's talking to you, Sam?" We went back to Amelia's residence. Behind a frame in the living room, we found a folded envelope. On it was written my old secret. Codename, Orion. My hands began to tremble. That code was known only to MI5 and the team involved in the mission from 7 years ago. I opened the envelope, and inside it was written, "You left me in the fire. You escaped. I burned. You forgot. But I remember. I always remember 11:17. I told Chief Graves everything for the first time. 7 years ago there was a covert operation with MI5, an international criminal we had codenamed Spectre. He lived in the shadows. No one had seen his face. To catch him, we sent a girl inside, an undercover informant, whose name in the files was Amelia. But the mission went wrong. We believed she died, and Spectre 2 was presumed dead, burned in the fire. Chief Graves gritted his teeth and said, "But maybe he didn't die, and maybe she didn't either. Maybe both disappeared, and only one came back," Rachel said anxiously. "And now, someone is killing people from your past. What if this is all revenge?" That night, at 11:17 p.m., a ringtone rang inside the police headquarters. No number, no caller ID, just a voice. "Three's a charm. Tick-tock, Carter, you're running out of time." And then an image came through, blurry, a third face. Rachel recognized it. That's Dr. Eliza Monroe, psychological analyst from MI5. She was part of Operation Orion. We immediately raided her apartment, but the door was locked from the inside. Through the glass, we saw Eliza's dead body, and her watch. Once again, 11:17 p.m. In Eliza's room, there was a mirror. Rachel found a small envelope behind it. Inside was a secret map, connecting 3 locations with red lines: Ashford Lane, 15th Avenue, and Eliza's apartment. One word was written on the map: Judgment. I looked down, and there was an old letter, stamped with an MI5 file seal, and the final line read, "Only one of you deserves to live." This case was now slipping out of my hands. The killer wasn't just chasing us, he was playing with us, as if each murder was a reminder of that fire, of that past, in which perhaps all of us had lost something. Have you ever felt a moment where even your own breath betrays you, as if every sound, every shadow, is closing in on you? I was living in that moment and had become a pawn in the game designed by the killer. A third point was marked on the map, a deserted location near Grantham Cemetery. We arrived there at 3 a.m. The rain had stopped, but there was a chill in the air, the kind that makes you feel like someone is standing just behind your eyes. Beneath some stones was an old lid. We lifted it and found stairs beneath rusted, old, and drowned in complete darkness. Neil pulled out a torch. Rachel drew her gun, and we went down into an underground bunker from another time. At the bottom was a long hallway-like path. There were scratches on the walls. Some words were written again and again. "He left us. They forgot the fire." 11:17 was the beginning. At the end, there was a room inside, a table, a computer, and photos pinned to the wall. Photos of all the victims, and mine among them. In the middle of the room, there was a speaker. As soon as we entered, it turned on automatically. "So you came, Orion 9. Took you long enough." My breath stopped. It was that same voice. "Spectres. You thought I died in the fire. No, you left me. You saved your skin and let me burn. But I lived. I watched, and now I'm watching you." Rachel shouted in anger. "Why the others? Why kill innocent people? Innocent, ha? They all were part of it. Elisa created the mental profiles. Daniel sabotaged the exit. Amelia was bait. And you, Carter, you signed the clearance." Suddenly, there was an explosion. The outer doors shut on their own. The lights went out. Rachel's scream was heard. "Sam, behind you." I turned around, and a shadow passed by. Neil fired, but he had already vanished. The lights came back on, and Rachel was gone. On the table lay a watch. Its time frozen. 11:17 p.m. Alongside it, a note. "Want her back. Come alone, and bring your guilt with you." I returned to headquarters, and for the first time, I opened my file, the one that had remained sealed until today. To save Rachel, I had to uncover everything that had been buried. Chief Graves listened to everything. In silence, "Carter, this ends with you. Either you kill him, or he finishes the circle." I picked up my weapon, and at 11 p.m., I set out again, alone, into the darkness, toward an enemy who was now no longer just a killer, but had become my shadow. That was the night I looked at myself in the mirror, and maybe for the first time, I realized that a criminal isn't just the one holding the gun. Sometimes, a criminal is also the one who stays silent while watching everything unfold. At 11 o'clock p.m., I went out alone. There was a weapon in my hand, and in my pocket, the same file I had kept sealed for 7 years. The path was deserted, an old abandoned factory in London, where once ammunition was made. Now only memories lived there. I stepped inside, every footstep echoed, an old speaker crackled. "Welcome home, Orionin. Took you long enough." The voice echoed around me. I shouted, "Where is Rachel?" A faint circle of light turned on in front of me. Rachel was tied to a chair. There were wounds on her face, but her eyes still held light. "Sam, don't listen to him. It's not just about you anymore." Suddenly, a shadow emerged from the darkness. Tall frame, black clothing, half a mask on his face. But the eyes, those same eyes, the ones I had last seen across the flames 7 years ago. "Spectre," he laughed, "or what's left of me. You burnt me once, Carter. But now, I will burn everything you care about." I raised my gun. "Let her go. This ends with us." The confrontation. He stepped forward. "You thought I died? That fire only burned my body. My soul came alive that day. You left everything behind to save yourself. And she, Amelia, she believed in my truth. You all betrayed me." I roared. "She tried to stop you. She begged you to walk away. And you left her helpless." He shouted and raised a knife to Rachel's head. "Either you die now, or Rachel will. Go silent, just like your conscience." I put the gun down. No more running, no more games. And I walked toward him, empty-handed but with eyes full of questions I still didn't have answers to. "Kill me, if you think it ends this way. But you'll still be the one who chose revenge over redemption." After a few moments of silence, Spectre's hand began to tremble. Rachel whispered, "He's not a monster, Sam. He's a ghost you all created." The gun shot suddenly. A gun fired. But someone had knocked the weapon from Spectre's hand. It was Neil. "Sorry I'm late," he said, "but I brought company." Behind him, the police team entered. Chief Graves, 2 snipers, and backup. Spectre was arrested. Rachel was freed. And after a long silence, I felt lighter for the first time. Epilogue: The Midnight Truth. There's a killer hidden inside all of us, the one who stays silent when the truth must be spoken, the one who runs when he should stay, and the one who buries his past, believing it will never return. But the truth is, the past always comes back, sometimes at 11:17, sometimes at the moment when you're at your weakest,